Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kim Harp, and I am the Bee's Development Manager. I've been a part of what we call the Bee Team, which is the full-time staff of the Scripps National Spelling Bee, for a year and a half, and I live in the Cincinnati region. The Bee and our parent company, E.W. Scripps, is headquartered here. We're here today to discuss how and why to enroll in the Scripps National Spelling Bee, and my colleague Tyler is going to walk through the enrollment process at spellingbee.com. But before we dive into that, I'd love to get to know you all a little bit better. So I'm going to put up a few polls, which will help me to steer today's conversation in the right direction. So take a minute to answer these questions for me. Give you a few more seconds here. Second here to do this poll question. I love that we have so many of you on the Zoom today from all across the country. Okay. So I'm looking at the poll results now. So looks like a lot of you are already enrolled, but a good number of you are not yet enrolled. And that, okay, so you'll be enrolling your school. Most of you will be the ones enrolling your school. Some of you mentioned that someone else will be enrolling. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. And if you are unsure of your enrollment status, we have a lookup tool on our website. You can go to spellingbee.com/enroll and scroll down to find the zip code lookup tool. Okay, so as we go through today's webinar, please feel free to leave questions in the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We'll hopefully have time at the end for me to answer some of them live, but I'm also very grateful to have members of our customer service team helping me out today, and they're ready to answer your questions throughout the presentation as well. So I'm going to kick it off with our new 2023-2024 school enrollment video.
The Scripps National Spelling Bee is a worldwide phenomenon, starting out with millions of spellers in more than 20,000 schools.
That is correct.
Is the next Bee champion in your community?
I'm ready.
The road from classrooms to the Bee starts now.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Sign up your school today at spellingbee.com/enroll to give kids the experience of a lifetime.
You make connections that last your life.
Enroll today. Discounts end October 31st.
Great. That video always makes me smile. So for those of you who are already enrolled, as a side note, we have over 6,000 schools fully enrolled as of today. Or for those of you who have enrolled in the past, you're already aware of the benefits that your school and your spellers receive. We've heard from so many Bee coordinators over the years who find these resources to be user-friendly and everything they need to run a successful spelling bee program. They love offering this program to students not only to increase their knowledge of words and vocabulary through a fun academic competition, but also to build students' confidence, public speaking skills, poise under pressure, sportsmanship skills, and more. Our program touches more than 20,000 schools like yours across the U.S. and beyond, with millions of students participating in over 70,000 classrooms. So I'll run through the details of enrollment. Enrollment opened on August 22nd, and it will run through January 31st. The early bird fee is $180, which will increase to $199 on October 31st. This is payable by credit card or check. We do not accept purchase orders. Keep in mind that 1st through 8th graders are eligible for this program. I'll share a bit about what the school spelling bee includes for enrolled schools. So all the schools will have the ability to participate in the spelling bee program, which may include classroom spelling bees or grade level spelling bees, and it must include a school level spelling bee. Your school spelling bee champion's path to the regional competition is included as part of your school's enrollment. And that path could take your school champion all the way to the national competition in Washington, D.C. So here's what's included in the school enrollment fee. 1, resources for planning your school spelling bee, and 2, resources for your students. I'll start with the resources for planning your school bee, all to be found in the Educator portal once we receive your school's enrollment payment. Your school bee coordinator will use the resources available in the Educator portal to coordinate your school spelling bee, which includes how-to guides and trainings for school spelling bee coordinators, including the school spelling bee checklist, the 2024 classroom competition list for administering classroom spelling bees, the 2024 school competition list for administering school spelling bees, supplemental vocabulary materials for classroom and school levels, and access to the Bee's online testing platform for creating classroom and school online tests if needed. School bee coordinators access these materials again through the online portal, and they can distribute these materials to other educators at their school. Next, I'll cover the resources for the students. 1, Words of the Champions, the 4,000-word study resource for your school spelling bee champion. This resource is updated every year, but this year we have some exciting new content, including fun themed word lists and word puzzles. Also, official study lists with spellings and word meanings for students in grades 1 through 8. Also, award certificates for participants and your school champion, a 1-year subscription to Britannica Online for Kids, which is a $74.95 value to award to a participant in your school spelling bee program. You can even get a second free subscription if you enroll before September 29th. While you'll have to wait until next month for an official announcement, we'll have some partnerships in the works that will provide even more value for your students and their families. These enrollment benefits are all listed on our website at spellingbee.com/enroll. So not included in the school enrollment fee is a spelling bee trophy, medals, or any event costs, but we have an online store with official bee merchandise that you can purchase. So separate from the school enrollment fee are the following free resources. Let me know in the chat if you're familiar with these. The Great Words, Great Works reading list with all source books for the school spelling bee study lists, organized by reading level, so your students can read their spelling bee study words within the context of great stories. Also, the Bees Bookshelf. This is the official book club of the Scripps National Spelling Bee and a fun way for your students to engage with the words they're studying. Next, the Word Club app. This is our free app that gives your spellers the opportunity to study spelling and vocabulary on a smartphone or wherever they can download an app. And lastly, the Beehive newsletter. Sign up for this free newsletter for updates and information designed specifically for educators, and it includes fun activities and more. This is sent out twice per month. So as I've heard directly from our 2023 Educator of the Year, Gina Calhoun, the Spelling Bee program allows students to really shine and sets them on a path to success. We hope you'll bring this opportunity to your students this year and for many years to come. So we'll keep the Q&A open for any questions about this information I've shared, and then I will pass it over to Tyler Hyde, the Bee's Marketing Communications Manager, who will give you a step-by-step look at how to enroll your school.
Thank you, Kim. Hi, everyone. Now that Kim's given you a rundown of all the benefits the educators and students at your school will receive when you enroll in the Bee program, I am going to do a quick walkthrough of how you can enroll. It's a very simple process. Everything can be completed online, including payment of your school's enrollment fee, and then you will receive immediate access to the Educator portal, which is the exclusive password-protected area of spellingbee.com, where you can find all those great benefits that Kim just listed out for you. The study list, competition guides, vocabulary supplements, everything that can make your school spelling bee program the best that it can be. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the Educator portal once we run through the steps for enrolling. And like Kim just said, please do submit your questions at any time using the Q&A button down at the bottom of the screen. Once I walk through the 4 steps of our enrollment process, and then show you the educator portal. We will have some time left over to answer those questions live. So let's get to it. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen really quickly. We are going to walk through this. Okay. So first, you're going to want to visit spellingbee.com. That is our official website, and it's where you kick off the enrollment process for your school. You can, you'll see here our wonderful champion, 2023 champion, Dev Shah, and lots of great information about the bee on our website. And if you are ready to enroll, you can click the enroll button right here at the top right of the screen. So this page right here basically lists everything that Kim just told you. You have in A to Z of the Spelling Bee program. We have some explainer videos linked here. And then you have all of these benefits here written out for you. So if you, we will be sending out this recording afterwards, but if tonight you're thinking, what was it that she was talking about? You can go to spellingbee.com/enroll, and all of those benefits are listed out for you. So once you are ready to enroll, you can click this button right here, enroll your school, and we will get started. Now, from here, there are 2 different ways that you can do this depending on whether or not you have enrolled your school previously. So you can use, if you have enrolled before, welcome back. You can use the email address and password that you used last year to enroll again. And don't worry, you can always click this forgot password button right here if you need to reset that password for the new year. Now, if your school hasn't enrolled with the bee before, welcome. We're very excited to have you and your students joining us this year. You can sign up for a new account, and that is what I'm going to do right here to show you that process. So we clicked the enrollment login link. You're now going to click here where it says click here to sign up. And we're going to just fill out some general information about ourselves. Give me 2 seconds to do that. All right, you are going to give us your relationship to the school, whether you're an administrator, you're a teacher in the classroom, perhaps your support staff. So I am going to just say other, because I am none of those things. I'm going to add a phone number in here. And then I'm going to give this a password. So here we go. Okay, so once that's all ready, and do be sure that you save that password, because that is going to be your password to log into the system afterwards, once you've enrolled. So you're going to say create account here. There we go. And it is going to send me to our enrollment screen. Now, again, we really like for you to know all the resources. So you'll have everything listed here again for you, just in case you'd forgotten it previously. And you're going to say begin enrollment here. And that is how we're going to get into our 4-step process for enrolling. So everything that we do through our school's database is done through the zip code of your school's physical address. So I'm going to use one right here for a school that was set up for me to enroll for you today. And then you're going to hit the save and continue button. And if you have multiple schools that you're enrolling, which we'll talk about in a second, you can include multiple zip codes here in case you have multiple schools across, you know, a large city, perhaps. So I'm going to say save and continue. And then step 2 is going to bring up a list of every school that is in the bees database that is associated with that zip code. So a couple things that I want to share about this screen really quickly. We have, you'll see some colors here. So if a school is highlighted in green, like example elementary school right there, it means that the enrollment process has already been completed. We've received payment and the school is enrolled for this academic year. You don't see any listed there currently, but if a school was listed in gray, it would mean that the enrollment process has been completed, but we haven't yet received your school's payment. So you are listed as pending in our system. And if there was anything in red, it means that someone began the enrollment process for your school, but they didn't complete it and they didn't pay for enrollment for this year. So if your school is listed, like most of them here, but not highlighted in any color, you can click on any of these check boxes to select your school. Now, I do want to say If you get to this screen and your school is not listed, you should do two things. So first, we're going to hit this back button right here, and we're going to double check and maybe triple check that our zip code is correct, that it is the zip code that's associated with your school. And if you come back to this screen and it's still, you don't see your school there, you know that the zip code's correct, that just means that we don't have your school in our database yet. So if you haven't enrolled before, there's a good chance that you might have to add your school to our database. So you're going to say, click here to request the addition of your school. And then you will give us some general information about the school. And within a week, our customer service team will vet your school and add them to the database. And they will send you an email to let you know that you are able to enroll. So just wanted to let you know that, just in case. No need to worry if you don't see your school listed here, we can add you to our system. So while we're on this step, I do really quickly want to plug our brand new process that will allow you to enroll multiple schools in one enrollment process. So if you're representing a school district, or maybe you're an administrator for multiple elementary and middle schools in one area, you can select multiple schools on this step, and then you'll be able to complete enrollment and pay for them all together in one invoice. And very exciting and new this year, you will then have access to all of those schools' educator portals through what we call the multi-school portal. That is a new resource for this year that we are very, very excited to share with you. So just in case you're wondering, can I enroll multiple schools? Yes, you can. And this year it's even better than it's ever been. So I am just going to enroll one school though with this enrollment. So we're going to go ahead and do Brown Bear Elementary School. So I'm going to click the little checkbox, and then I'm going to go down here and say save and continue to move on to step 3. So this is where we get all of the information about your school and your school bee coordinator. And remember, the school bee coordinator is the person at your school who will have access to the educator portal with all of these resources. They're typically the person who is going to be working with your classroom teachers to plan classroom spelling bees. And then they're also the one who does the bulk of the work to create a school spelling bee and have that event. So they are shown here is the key contact. We use those two interchangeably. So key contact, school bee coordinator, they're the same thing. So let's say that I'm going to put Kim Harp as our key contact. So I'm going to add her email address. And then I'm going to add my school's phone number. We want to know the type of school that it is. And then we want to know when you plan to host your school spelling bee. So this does not have to be a definite date, but it will help us to kind of have a sense of when our resources are being used at what time of the year. If you can give us at least a month when you expect to host your bee. So I'm going to say we're going to do it right in January, right before the deadline. And then we have some questions here. Why is your school participating? I am going to say the academic competition is good for our students. You can always hit other if you have other reasoning. And then what grades participate? So I'm going to say that mine was an elementary school. So I'm going to say K through 6. Who pays your school enrollment fee? I'm going to say my school does. And then how did you hear about us? So there are lots of different options. You can select multiple of them. I'm just going to say the Beehive newsletter, which is that newsletter Kim told you about that goes out to educators. If you're interested, there is a link. I added it to the chat earlier today, so you can go through and add yourself to the Beehive. And then I do just want to share that on this screen, this last little bit here, you are able to check if you would like to receive the SIFT newsletter. That is a free weekly newsletter from our friends at the News Literacy Project. They are a really awesome nonprofit organization that is dedicated to creating a better informed, more engaged, more empowered individuals through news literacy education. So they send out a lot of really great resources about how you can talk to your kids about what's going on in the news. Would recommend. So you can do that if you'd like. So check and make sure that all of this is correct. Then we're going to say save and continue. And at this point, we are almost done. So step 4 is the terms of agreement and our payment. So you can see right here that before you can move forward with making your payment, you do have to view and accept our terms of enrollment. So here they are, not too long, not too onerous. Do be sure to read through that. And then you'll have to say that I accept the terms before you can move forward. So because we are enrolling before October 31st, we do have that $180 early bird fee. And you'll see here at the bottom of the screen, there are 2 different ways that you can pay for your enrollment. So that is either by check or by credit. We're going to do the credit card first. So we're going to say pay by credit. And it is just like a normal credit card payment that you would make on the internet, just as secure. And we need all the same information. And you can put in all of that information. I'm not going to do that now, and click submit payment. And your once your payment goes through, your school is enrolled. So you and your school bee coordinator will have immediate access to the educator portal at spellingbee.com. Now, the other way that you can do this is select pay by check. This process is a little bit longer. And what you have to do is you have to download your invoice. And that's going to include instructions for mailing your check to our national office here in Cincinnati. There is a $7.50 check handling fee that will be added on top of your school's enrollment fee. And your school will be listed as pending payment, which is that, grayed out bit that you saw or that we discussed earlier, until we do receive that payment. You won't be able to access any of your materials until we receive that check payment. Once we do receive it, it can take up to 10 business days for that check payment to come into our office and be processed. But once the check payment is processed, your school will be listed as enrolled in our database. You will receive an email confirmation that your payment has gone through, and your school coordinator will have full access to the educator portal. So that is the enrollment process. So let me really quickly close this. And like I said, very easy process. The whole thing is 4 steps long. We have a video on our YouTube channel. You'll be receiving the recording of this video so you can walk through it in real time if you'd like. It's a very simple process, all done online, and we try to make it as simple as possible for you. Now, before we move on to the Q&A, I am going to show you a sneak peek of the educator portal. So this is the portal where your school spelling bee contact will have the opportunity to view and download all of their resources. So here we go. Let me reshare my screen. Okay. Am I sharing? There we go. Okay, good. So this is the homepage of the educator portal. We call out a couple things that you've already heard about from Kim, like our Great Words, Great Works book list, really great resource broken up by grade level. Our Word Club app, which is totally free as of last year. Our online testing platform, which allows you and your educators to give classroom and school level online tests as part of your school spelling bee program. So there's lots of good stuff. I am going to go into the classroom spelling bee. You'll see here at the top, first we have our how-to, which is very detailed information for how you can do an in-person, a virtual, or an online testing platform classroom spelling bee. We also have all of our study lists here, both with just the words and including the definitions. We have the different competition lists that you can use to administer a classroom spelling bee, including our vocabulary supplement, if you want to test your students on vocabulary as well, which we always recommend. We have our suggested rules for spelling bees. And then if I click this school spelling bee section, you'll see the exact same thing, all of these different categories, but we also have our prizes. And like Kim teased earlier, we are working on it with some very cool organizations, hoping to announce those partnerships next month. And as part of those, schools and families will get some pretty cool benefits that will be listed here as well. So Someone asked earlier about the regional program, their regional partners information that is listed as well. So whichever, if you're in South Carolina, it's likely the Carolina Panthers that are going to be your regional partners. So their program information would be here. You can find out the deadline for your school B, for when you need to complete your school B, and complete that school champion registration that we have here. And then we have just a couple other things over here. The reading list we discussed earlier, the Beehive newsletter we also discussed earlier, and then we have our Bee store. But this is just a sneak peek of this portal. We're not going to go through everything step by step today. We will, however, go through all of that next week. Kim and I will be hosting another webinar that is more for that school bee coordinator to learn how do you host a successful school spelling bee program? How do I use these resources in my classroom for my students? What do they need to study? All of that, we will be going through it. So I will go ahead and put a link in the chat right now if you're interested in joining for that webinar. We expect that to be about 30 to 45 minutes. And again, that will also take place next Wednesday. It'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern instead of 4:30, but just about the same time. So hope that we'll see some of you on that webinar as well. So I will invite Kim back now to join me for the next couple minutes. I've seen that you already have some really fantastic questions that are going into the chat. So she and I will see about answering some of those. And if any of you have any questions about enrollment, your school bee program, what the different resources are, if you want us to go into any of them in detail, we'll take the next 5 to 10 minutes and just answer some of these questions. So let's see. Let's look and see about some of the ones that have already come in. And if we feel like we should answer some of those live. Well, I see one right now that is about, this is just, I started scrolling up the chat, so I'm going backwards. But it says, is there a specific date the school spelling bee needs to be completed by? And that is a great question. And that is something that is on a regional partner by regional partner basis. So our regional partners are the organizations that contract with the bee, who are official bee regional partners, and they are in charge of the local programs across the country. We have about 250 of them that we work with. They're everything from professional sports teams to newspapers to universities and library systems. And you will see in that educator portal that I just showed you, that school bee deadline would be included as part of your regional partners regional program information, because every location around the country has its own unique traditions and structure for their program, and we can go into a little bit of that next week as well if that's helpful. Let's see. All right, question from Jordan. Our school would like to have 1st through 5th grade school bee. Since Georgia is 3rd through 8th, I assume we would just allow our 3rd through 5th continue to regionals as they if they qualify. No need to apologize. Questions are great. That's what this is for. And welcome. So excited to have new people getting stung by the bee. So yes, if Georgia has a grade minimum, which some of our partners do, some of them don't. We personally don't have a grade minimum, but some of our partners choose to for a variety of reasons. If they only allow 3rd through 8th grade through, and you are doing a 1st through 5th bee, then yes, I think that if you would like to allow your 1st and 2nd grade students to participate, if some of them come through to the school spelling bee, I think just being sure that you communicate really well ahead of time that only 3rd through 5th graders would be able to move forward in the program. I think that it's great to be able to give them the spelling bee experience, whether or not they can move forward. But yes, if your regional partner does have a grade minimum, then you would only be able to move forward a school spelling bee champion who was at least that minimum grade. All right, let's see. Other questions? See something in the Q&A. It says, the county is no longer having the spelling bee. How does it work for the coordinators to enroll for competition for Scripps? So that is a great question. I think what I would do in your case, so first of all, you know, we have a pathway for all students, all school bee champions to move forward, no matter what's going on in your district or in your regional area. We try to make every school champion able to move forward to the next level of competition. So I think what I would probably do is check and see, you can use that link that I think I put in the chat earlier, and I can see if I can find it again to see who your regional partner is and what their qualifications are to compete. And then if you have specific questions, our customer service team is fantastic. They're always available to answer questions. So I would encourage you to fill out our contact form at spellingbee.com/contact. Our customer service team will be in touch within 24 hours during the work week, and they'll be able to help you sort of figure out what's going on in your area and how your school can still be enrolled. Awesome. Let's see if there are other questions that are up here that would be good for everyone to know. So I guess we have a couple questions about timing, and like I said, it really depends in your area about when you have to host that school spelling bee. But I will say that we just want to encourage everyone to enroll by that October 31st deadline. That is our early bird fee deadline. So it's $180 right now to enroll your school, and on November 1st it'll go up to $199. So do be sure to get your school enrolled as soon as possible. Let's see. I don't see many other questions. If anyone has questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A, put them in chat. And I do hope that some of you newbies will be sure to sign up for our webinar next week and join us as we go really in depth into how you can have a successful school spelling bee program. So let's see, any more? Our regional area bee does not appear to be in our area, almost 50 miles away. This is our first time participating. Is this considered our local regional area? That's a great question. So we do have regional programs of varying sizes. So if you have put in the zip code where your school is physically located and your regional partner pulls up and it does seem a little far away, that is your regional partner. So the database doesn't lie. So some of our programs are statewide programs. Some of them just have a very large region of a state. So I think that there's a good chance that if you have a regional partner that it says that they're located almost 50 miles away, you very likely have some kind of qualification structure because your partner does have a very large program. So yes, that is your regional partner. And once you are enrolled, you'll kind of learn the pathway for how your school bee champion can go up into their regional program. It may just take a couple levels. There might be, your school bee and then some kind of regional qualifier bee, and then maybe another regional qualifier bee before that regional partner's spelling bee. But yes, if that is your school zip code, that is your regional partner. All right. And yes, Kim already answered, but it's $180 for everything that we discussed here today. So no hidden fees, no extra fees, just our enrollment fee. And then you get everything that you need to cover an entire school spelling bee program. So, okay, well, I will turn it back to you, Kim, if we don't think there are other things that people have questions about, but do reach out to our contact team if you need us, and we'll hopefully see many of you next week.
Thank you, Tyler. Yes, lots of great questions today. Feel free to throw another couple in there as we wrap up here. But as we've mentioned several times now, you can contact us anytime. Spellingbee.com/contact. Our customer service team will be in touch with you within 24 hours. Our regular business hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and then next week, so we're having the webinar next week with the Educator portal on all things that are included in the portal. So feel free to join that webinar next week. Wendy, I saw you were asking about that. There you go. There's the registration link. So thank you all again so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful spending time with you. We are so excited about the Spelling Bee program this year, and we know that you all are too. So we hope you learned something new about the program, and I hope you feel ready to get your school enrolled for the new year. Together, we can give students the words they need to shine their light on the world. So have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.